Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be the last video, probably, that I'm going to be shooting at this location. I'm going to be moving again. I just got the diorama moved from the shop out here, but due to circumstances, good circumstances, we are going to be moving. Um, so we'll be moving all of this to another location. But the nice thing is I'm hoping to get a much larger room to build in, so I can really expand this out. I'd like to build across the road, so to speak, and build another section so that I can put the two together and you'll be able to see both sides of the road at the same time. But basically today what we're going to do is we're going to go into each area of the diorama. I'm going to explain, what I did, where the buildings came from, and how things developed, and the timeline. One thing is, people say, "Oh my God, I could never do anything like this. I just don't have the time slash space, talent, or whatever, money." And a lot of times people say, "Well, I just don't have the money to, you got. It just looks like a lot of money there," and it has been expensive, but not really. I mean, I do a lot of my own work. I've casted details. I've learned how to do different techniques. All to save myself money. Um, this was financed basically with whatever money I can scrape up. Um, this isn't, a lot of times, I mean, I would only be able to spend maybe, $20, $30 a week, sometimes less. Sometimes I couldn't spend anything for a while. Sometimes I'd get a couple $100. So it took a long time. The first section took 3 years to do, because a lot of times I have to wait until I can afford to get something. I do this on a shoestring. I really do. Um, but I've been hammering at it now for the last 5 years, and you see the results right here. But this was all done at like $50 at a time, $20 at a time. Buy something, or but it'll all become a little more apparent as we go through and I talk about the details of each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first section, which is going to be kind of out of order. I'm going to go by chronological order, not the order that they're laid out in. So we're going to go to the first section, which is the mobile gas station, the liquor store, and the A&W root beer. And this was the first section that I built. This is the section that took 3 years. Um, it's just takes time to do it. I could make it a lot quicker if I had more money, but couldn't we all, right? So let's start with this first building here. This is the mobile gas station. It is a twin whistle kit. It was actually one of the first when Twin Whistle came out with this kit. I got one of the first ones, and it's a great little kit if you're looking to get into building your own structures. It's a good way to learn how to build. I mean, basically, I copied his design as far as structure goes into a lot of other buildings, because it's a pretty simple structure and it's well built. The kit, I believe, is around $70, um, but it's going to cost you a lot more once you detail it out. Um, but it is a very nice kit. It's if you could build a model, it's basically putting together a box. It's a real simple kit. Um, the signs are Miller Engineering, and my mobile sign just went out again. Oh, it's back on again. I've been having problems with that. It's kind of interesting catching it on video. So let's take a little bit closer look at the mobile station here. It has been modified a bit from what the kit is. You can kind of see I got a garage door leaning in the back there. I have two Miller Engineering signs up on top of it.
The pumps come with the kit. Those are the twin whistle pumps. Some of the details are my details that I do and I sell. Like the pop machine way in the back there is one of mine. And then the next building that I built was the A&W beer stand. And the A&W root beer stand is another twin whistle kit. Um, this kit is a lot harder to do than the gas station kit. You get a box with a bunch of shapes in it, a bunch of little plastic pieces and sheets and stuff that are cut out. Some you got to cut. But if you follow the instructions are very good. They have a template you can lay your parts out in. And if you take your time and do what the instructions say, you can have good results. Otherwise, if you open up the box, it can be really overwhelming to look at it first because you're basically looking at a little pile of plastic. Um, so I would not suggest this as your first. If you're just getting into building, I would not suggest this as your first. I would definitely suggest getting the gas station. The gas station's an excellent kit. Um, let's see here. A little more detail on here. If I can get in a little closer without knocking things over. That's one of the things with having all these light fixture or street lights and everything. The people ask me, where do you get all these people? And it's like, I get them at a lot of different places. Some of them are Greenlight, has some that they put out. Um, I found some on the old Mortar Max American Graffiti little dioramas. I got some people off of there. I've bought some off eBay. Race Metals, one of the sellers that you can find on eBay. Um, they make cool little figures. I found some other guys that do figures, 3D printing, and they're working with this one guy. He's really good. Uh, some of the figures are American Diorama. But you can get figures all over, and it's a lot easier now to get figures than it was when I first started this. Um, there, especially with 3D printing coming on strong now, and so this building right here is my first scratch build one. Tops Liquor. Uh, the decals are from Dave's Decals. Dave does nice work, and his decals are reasonable. Um, and you can get a lot of different subject matters. So you can buy, sheets of them, and he has themes. And Dave's Decals. You can look it up on Google. It does a lot of nice decals. Um, Highly recommended. But anyways, so I built this out of styrene. It's made out of sheet styrene from Evergreen, mostly. Um, I built it very similar in construction to the twin whistle. If I, pop the top on it, and if you pop the top on the twin whistle gas station, you would definitely see the relation. Um, and so basically, what else we got on here? The parking lot is this vinyl that my brother bought a big roll of it at a rummage sale, and it's textured, really thin textured vinyl. And that's what I use. I have enough to probably finish the rest of my dioramas I have planned in the future. So that is not a product that's readily available, but a lot of people do different things for roads. Okay, so that is the first section. Now let's move on to the second section here. Oh, the mobile sign is out again. It's got a short. Oh, it's back on again. There we go. Maybe it's thinking it's blinking really slow. I don't know.
But the rotating signs are both Miller Engineering. Um, I love Miller Engineering signs. Sometimes they can be a little glitchy. All right, so now this section is interesting because the buildings here, one is scratch built, one is kit bashed, and it's a modified HO kit, and then the other one is actually something from the 60s that's been repurposed. So let's get into that here. We'll start with the Texaco station. Get a little closer without running into things here. There's the Texaco station. I built that out of sheet styrene. It's all evergreen styrene, decals from Dave's Decals mostly, some micro scale decals in there. The pumps are from Greenlight. Some of the other details are the pop machines that I sell and the candy machines. And the workbench, you can see those back into the garage. We'll come around the side here. The lighting I bought all off of eBay. There's some of the pop machines that I make, the candy machine that I make, which I actually have I have an Etsy store coming. I'm working on it. It's gonna happen after the move, and I'll be making a lot of details that I use on my diorama available. So if you see what you like, eventually you'll be able to buy it. There's a phone booth there. I made those. They were really a pain in the tail to make, so I don't think I'd ever sell them because each one took me about an hour to do. I know you get close to them, they kind of look a little wonky, but if you stand back a little, they look good. All right, let's move on to the donut shop here. Now, Randy's Donuts here. This is a Walther's HO scale kit, 187 scale, where my diorama is an S scale, which is 164. And so HO buildings are smaller. They're shorter, tinier buildings. But what I did with this is I lifted the walls up with pieces of styrene, lifted it up to, so it's scale height for 164. Added a little brick fascia, so you can't even tell. And the nice thing is that a building like that is relatively easy to change to 164 and still keep it believable, because those little buildings like that were all different sizes. They could go from small to large. So I've done it with some HO kits with success, making them larger, and some not. So that's a Walther's kit. I think they're like $24.99 in the catalog, something like that. Of course, this one's been highly modified. Then I bought another Walther's kit just for the other donut, which I made the sign out of. The inside LEDs that are flashing are out of this crisp battery-powered Christmas tree that I cannibalized for the lights. Put them inside the donut. That actually runs off the batteries because the controller is kind of connected to the battery, and I didn't want to wire it in directly because I wanted to keep the LEDs, and I'm not that good at electronics. I can hook up lights, as you can see, but as far as doing anything complicated, that gets to be a little beyond my grasp. So, all right, the diner. Now, the diner started off as a gift from my wife. She found it on eBay, and what it originally is a Matchbox service station from the 1960s. And it's been heavily modified. So I'm going to get a little closer here. It's been extremely heavily modified. It doesn't look anything like what originally. I mean, if you put one next to it, you could tell the pedigree, but the front doors area is off of Mortar Max American Graffiti diorama. I took the front wall off of it and used it on here. I added onto the back of the building, made it
still a lot of work to it. But that was originally a matchbox building. So, I mean, 164 scale buildings can be really expensive. I mean, just for the twin whistle kit for the gas station is $70, and that's, you have to complete it. You have to build it. Building a scratch built building like one of the gas stations, like this Texaco station, probably looking at about $40 to $50 of materials minus the signs and the lights. Once you add the signs and the lights, it goes up exponentially. The rotating light is $60, and I think those other two Texaco lights on the roof are, I think they're about $40 each. So basically, just for the building itself, you're looking at $40, $50 materials plus the time. A building like that, for me, I'm looking at probably about 20, 25 hours maybe of work to build a building like that. I've gotten a little bit more efficient with it, but still, it's, if you want to do it right and you want to take your time and make it a neat job, you know, it takes time, and time costs money. So when you're looking at buying something that somebody else built, they put a lot of time into that usually, especially if you're building with styrene. So now we're going to travel down past here. We'll come back to the what you call it, the Chevy dealer, and we're going to go to the OK Used Cars dealer. Now this was another scratch built building. As you can see, it's kind of, you know, shares the architecture with some of my other buildings. But when you look at commercial buildings, you know, especially mid-century, they tend to be quite squarish, very cubicle buildings. OK Used Cars sign from Miller Engineering, and that actually was the first lighted sign that I built, or not built, that I bought. I fell in love with the lighted signs and kind of started doing the dioramas around them, as you can plainly see. So I had that one for several years before I actually used it. And then I found another one to put on the other side. It's discontinued now, so they're kind of hard to find. You can still find them on eBay. So this is the third section, which is the OK Used Car lot, and then the motel. Now the motel is the largest building that I've built. Up until the Chevy dealer. It's got several Miller Engineering signs. The motel, this sign right up here, is actually made from what they call the experimenter's kit. I made that, which, you know, it looks a little wonky with all the wires, but I got something that's going to cover. I'm going to put something to cover them wires up, make it a little neater. But I made that with the kit that they have. And here's the motel, built, you know, out of styrene. I like styrene, much better foam core. You see a lot of people building with foam core. I don't like foam core. Foam core warps. I mean, sure, it's cheap and it's easy to use. It's very easy to use. And you can get a sheet of it for, well, if you get the cheap stuff, you can pay $1 for it, or you can get the better stuff. But still, even the better stuff, a lot of times when you paint it, it warps. I've seen good results with people using foam core and styrene as an outer layer. But I still, you know, I like styrene. Styrene's a lot tougher. It doesn't warp. I think it looks a lot better. You can go thinner on things, on your walls, to get a more prototypical. I mean, because when you think about it, most, you know, a commercial building, you're talking what, 6-inch wall, 4 to 6 inch wall, and you want to have it because that's where, you know, you're going to get the proportion. And I feel proportion is very important. Scale is very important in how it looks in the end. You know, having the doors the proper height, prototypical height. I try to, you know, I'm trying to do this as close to
reality as I can get. Um, as time goes by, you're going to see more details added into this, and I'm going to, really try to stretch the envelope. I'm looking at adding neon tubing, EL luminescence tubing, looks like neon, to some of the buildings as a retrofit in the future. And let's move on to the final section here, which is the newest section that we just opened up, and that is the Chevy dealer. And the Chevy dealer is a building that I built. It's made out of styrene like the others. Uh, let's get a little bit closer into there. It's kind of, you can see the inside. I actually tried to sell this building last year. I wanted to come up with a little cash for Christmas. I was a little short, and so I thought, well, I'll put this up for sale and see if somebody would bite. And I put it up cheap. I mean, I was still trying to get like $225 for it, but that's actually cheap when you consider the time. I mean, you're talking 30 hours of work and 60 bucks in materials. The sign was a bit more expensive, or not sign. This building's a little more expensive. Um, and then you're trying to get $200 for something like that. You're not getting paid much per your hour, and people don't understand that. Things like this. This isn't something that you just go and buy off the store. It's something you got to build, and building takes skill. And if you want something that's nice, you're going to have to pay somebody that has the skill to build it or learn to do it yourself. Me, I learned to do it myself, and I saved money. The sign is another Miller Engineering kit that I cut out. It's I like it. It turned out okay. I'm learning how to work with the material, so I hope to, as I build each sign, that I can improve as I normally do. Now this sign here is just temporary. Eventually it's going to be replaced with a lit up sign similar to what's on the roof, but I'm still working on a design for that, but that's not going to happen until after I move. So there's a little more details. And the doors in the back do open. I don't build these to as a play set. This is so I really, if I can't see the interior from the road, I generally don't detail the insides of the buildings. I mean, because I kind of think, well, you're not going to see it. I don't know if we can get in there and kind of see a little bit inside there. All right. So let's take a little step back here. The Chevy dealer. What else can I say about this? It takes up its own section. I originally was going to put another building on with this, but I think it looks best by itself. A nice big lot. I pretty much have it set up for the 1969 1970 model year. So you see a mix of the 1970 Auto World Impalas in the front row, and there's some 69 Auto World Chevy Kingswood sitting there, some M269s, 69 Camaros, green light Malibus, 1969, and then green light trucks in the back, and then a couple of the M2 C60s. This is a truck dealer too, so we got to have some trucks. So this is going to be the end of this video. I hope it answered some questions. It's been a little bit long. I'm kind of rambling. But we'll be back again with new videos. Once I get set up in the new house, I'll be
working on making these videos a lot better. So subscribe and like. I do appreciate it, people subscribing. Right now, I think I have just a little bit over 100 subscribers. Woohoo! The more the merrier. Thanks to those who have subscribed. You are the chosen few. Get a little bit long view here on the diorama as we close out. And I look forward to doing this again soon in our new place. Keep the comments coming. I do appreciate all the comments that you guys have been putting down. So keep that up. Any questions, I will answer questions. So feel free to ask. If you want to know where I got something or how I did something, I do plan on doing some instructional videos in the future to show how I did this. Because I do believe in sharing knowledge. I'd like to see a lot more people do this because it gives me something to shoot for when other people are doing the same things. All right, well, we will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.